I just found this discourse on the internet about Take-Two CEO telling gamers that if you are a true fan, you can pay $80 for a video game. You are going to find a way. Well, it's not just simply an extremely boomer take, it's also extremely infuriating because the discussion of the AAA industry is all about should we increase the price of the games even further. And now there are rumors that they want us to reach a $100 price tag for a new game. While in reality, what the discussion should be right now is whether or not video games should be free. You heard it right, video games should be free. So let's just talk about that. Hi there, if you don't know what is going on, this is actually a live stream and you are right now watching a video which was cut together from that stream. So as you might see, this is a completely new YouTube channel and with really low subscriber numbers, so if you think that this kind of content might be intriguing for you, please subscribe. Now the thing is that if you listen to the claims and the problems what these publishers are raising, that why we should increase the price of video games is actually complete and utter bullshit. First concern is supposed to be that the inflation just increased so much that if we would just follow the price tag, with the inflation, that $60, which was decades ago, now should be around $80 or even $90. So they're keeping the price at the same level, it's just, increasing because of the inflation. Now, there are many problems with this statement. First and foremost, yes, you could say that the inflation is actually eroding the profit what these companies are getting. However, what they fail to mention that in the meantime, video game industry became an insanely huge thing. A decade ago or 2 decades ago, an extremely successful $60 game was if you managed to have around 1 million sold copies. That was an insane thing to do and almost unimaginable. Only the biggest titles could manage to do that. Now, 1 million units sold is, well, a failure. Not even talking about live service and Game Pass and any other services like that, which actually can give a passive income for the game developers, just completely bypassing the regular publishing pipeline. So, what the hell are we even comparing right now? The other part of this insane take that, we just should increase the price tag is that if you think about it, how much work had to be done back in the 90s to develop a video game. First and foremost, you had to develop a game engine. That's right, there were not really available game engines on the market. And even then, available SDKs, DirectX, Vulkan, and other softwares like that were really bare bone. So you literally had to develop an entire game engine. You had to develop your own tools to actually be able to do anything, to just access the hardware, and then you had to start developing your game. So if you just think about it, the software engineers back in the day had significantly harder and significantly more job to do. In the current day and age, if you have a couple of software engineers, they all can just simply work on an existing video game engine like Unreal or Unity. And to make things even better, a lot of people on the market already did learn these engines. Before, since every single company had their own specific engine, if you hired a new guy, you had to teach him for the ins and outs of your specific thing. It was extremely hard to move around talent. It was extremely hard to hire people who can actually manage the job, and even more hard to, develop the game. Because in every single iteration, new software background, like new Windows and new hardwares, new processors, new video cards came out, and you had to update your own engine with the increase of the industry. Now, all of this is not the job of the game engineers. The truth is that now a game development company has significantly less effort and significantly less money put into the development of a game, just for the sole reasons of this. If you just remember that how much variety we had with games back in the day. Some engines were really good with physics, some engines were really good with graphics, but all of them were different and all of them excelled in some separate thing. Yes, that was because all of them was developed separately by these teams. The vast majority of the development time actually went to develop the engine, and that is why, for example, in Oblivion and other Bethesda games, the engine is just clunky as hell, because, after some time you actually had to release a game, so you cannot just spend your entire development budget on polishing the broken engine. You just have to accept after a time that, yes, this is how it is, it's clunky as hell, but we still can make a fun game in it. Now, you just simply don't do that. You simply can hire a guy from the internet who learned Unity or Unreal Engine already, and you can just buy the latest edition of Unreal, which is updated to handle the newest hardware, and you can just simply do your job, develop the game, without thinking anything else. So yes, game development is actually supposed to be significantly cheaper. And we're not stopping here. Right now, we have to put ChatGPT in the mix as well. You know, software engineering is hard and it requires a lot of time to learn, and it requires a lot of talent to manage to do that in an efficient way. So, you know, writing a code is not that hard. That is why ChatGPT is really good at it. However, writing code which is efficient, not going to be buggy, and not going to break your hardware. Now, that's the challenge. And the current development teams are failing at it. You know why? Because they are not excelling in that either. So right now, ChatGPT is actually on the market, and these companies are utilizing it. That is why they are firing a lot of software engineers and such, because they are utilizing the resource which is available for everyone. ChatGPT and other AI software like that who can generate code for them. So again, why should we increase the price tag of the games when everything around game development is getting cheaper and cheaper and easier and streamlined every single year? And now we get to the real part. Back in the day, in the 90s and so, you had to have publishers, because otherwise you could not market your game. Otherwise you could not release your game, because, you know, you don't have a factory which can just burn millions of DVDs and such. So you had to have a industry around you which is going to promote, which is going to handle, and which is going to release your game for you. However, again, we are not living on those times anymore. All of these, what I just listed, is not required. You don't have to have a disc release. For the matter of fact, it's just a waste of money right now. You don't have to have marketing. If your game is good, streamers and people like that is going to promote it for completely free. Or if you want to spend some budget, you can do it your own. You don't have to have a marketing agency. You can literally do the marketing yourself really easily. So yeah, publishers might have been required back in the day, but now they are not. So they cut in this entire thing is again not required anymore. So, you know, when publishers, at this point, they are literally just leeches on the game industry. Publishers now, in the current day and age, literally do nothing above than ruining game companies, buying them, sucking them dry, and then throwing them away. And these companies are telling us that we should pay more for games. Well, it's not because that development companies need that, it's because that they need that. Take-Two actually is one of the best examples for this. Not so recently, you know, Kerbal Space Program was aggressively taken over by Take-Two. You know, the original Kerbal Space Program was a wonderful indie title. Everybody loved it. It was cheap. It was a great experience. And the developer team made a contract with Take-Two to make the next episode of the game. And then, one day, from out of the blue, Take-Two took the contract away from them because, you know, they had some dispute over the company because they wanted to buy the entire company. The company did not want it to sell for a low price. So instead of, you know, having some agreement, they actually just took away their money and then started to hire their own employees for a new company what they just created. And then this new company started to develop Kerbal Space Program 2. This was Intercept Games. Yep, Intercept Games. The name even the name is just a joke. They literally intercepted a contracted partner of theirs to steal their IP and stole their workers. And they created a new company for that, which called Intercept Games. And guess what? They shut down Intercept Games. Yep, Kerbal Space Program 2 had its early access, and the first start was really clunky, really bad. Of course it was. You know, they just fired the original development team and they essentially restarted the development process from scratch. And then, acted surprise that the early access was not good. But, you know, after a lots of work, it started to get better and better, and Steam reviews started to get better, and then they shut down the entire studio. Yep, and now Kerbal Space Program 2 is literally an abandonware. It had no updates, it had no any form of communication, nothing. So yes, that's Take-Two for you. Why should we give money for them? Why should we give money for these people? What good does it do for us? And now the CEO of Take-Two literally is telling us that we should find a way to pay $80 for Borderlands 4? Are you serious? Just as comparison, you can buy Schedule 1 for $20 right now. You can play with Expedition 33 for $40 right now. You can buy Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 for $60. And we're not even talking about the upcoming sales because, you know, they're not completely new releases. When Borderlands 4 is going to come out, these games are going to be even cheaper. So, you know, the question comes, why should I pay for Borderlands $80 while for the same price tag in a sale, I can buy Expedition 33, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and Schedule 1 together? Do you start to see the problem? And you know, in the beginning of this talk, I started to say that video games should be free. What do I mean by that? You know, we don't need publishers anymore. And we don't need these kind of marketing agencies anymore as well. Because streamers and gamers are going to market your game themselves if your game is good enough. So where is the budget come from to create the game? Just think about it. Why couldn't we have a form of crowdfunding to create a video game? Right now, if Hidetaka Miyazaki from Software would make a Kickstarter page to give me budget to make a new game, I'm pretty sure that we gamers would throw together millions of dollars. And you don't need a publisher, you don't need anyone. We're literally giving that money to the developers themselves, without third parties, without middlemen, just directly to these insane artists we want to support. Because right now, if you buy any of Borderlands games, you are literally funding these people who just destroyed Kerbal Space Program. So, for example, I myself really like Kerbal Space Program. And I don't want to fund the company which literally fired the entire original development team, took away the IP, and then destroyed the IP themselves. They left it alone to rot. Why should I fund them with my money? Just because they own another IP which I like. Why can't I fund the developers themselves? Because, you know, that's another reason why a lot of people usually say that piracy is bad because you are not giving money to the developers. You never did. You always did give money to the publishers. Did you know that software developers actually get, monthly salaries? They're not getting direct fundings from your purchases. They get their salary every single month and they are working on the next project which is supposed to be making billions of dollars for the publishers, not the development company. If the game is successful, that's only going to mean that the publisher is going to renew their contract. But other than that, they're not going to have significant increase in their salary. They're not going to have significant income. That's what happened with Bungie as well. Yep, Bungie just made Halo one of the biggest hits of all time, earning billions upon billions of dollars for Microsoft, and they did not get any cut from that. In a world of crowdfunding, this would never happen. Because if you release Halo, and gamers love it, when you announce that the same team, the same people want to create the new Halo, even better, even bigger, gamers are going to throw together millions of dollars directly for the game developers. And not some third party who just literally standing in between you to leech all of the money away and then give nothing to the companies themselves. So yes, I do believe that video games should be free. A living example of that is actually From Software. Did you know that every single From Software game has no piracy protection at all? Every single From Software game, from Armored Core to Dark Souls to Elden Ring, they had no piracy protection at all. At day one of the release, 1 hour after the official release happened, on every single piracy site, you can download the latest From Software game. It was the case for every single one of them. You know why? Because From Software doesn't need it. Because people tried out their game, they see that it is awesome, and they want to support them. They want to give them money. It's not a necessity. We all understand that these people need money to develop the next awesome experience for us. So we are giving them that money willingly, even though we actually don't have to. So yes, From Software is actually a living example. Right now, right here and now, you can play with any From Software game for completely free. And yet, most people don't do that because they want to support them. And that is why when I say that if right now, Hidetaka Miyazaki, the creator of the Soul series, would open a Kickstarter to fund my next game, I'm pretty sure that multiple millions of dollars would just hit the bank in the very first hour. We don't need publishers. We don't need marketing agencies. We don't need anything like that. We need artists. We need passionate developers. And they're going to create us great experiences. And this is where we are going. This is what is going to happen. It's already happening in the indie industry. And that is why we can see cheaper and cheaper games, which actually have better experiences like AAA titles, or for the matter of fact, have AAA experiences. Path of Exile 2 right now is in early access, but it's going to be free to play, completely free. Expedition 33, again, it's not even a $60 game, and most likely it is going to be Game of the Year. You see the problem? Because the publishers sure do not. Well, that doesn't really matter, is it? Because they are going to die out. And I cannot wait to see it happen. I actually just reached 100 subscribers a couple of days ago. So, you know, as a form of celebration, I just wanted to answer the most common questions what people ask me on the comments. So the answers are yes, yes, no, maybe, and hell no, that's disgusting, you should be ashamed of yourself. So we are going to do another Q&A like this after the 200 subscriber mark. So, you know, stay tuned.